Hello, Facebook and YouTubers. Today's topic is if you want to look into being a server, a waiter, a waitress, or in the restaurant industry. Someone told me to talk about what I usually know a lot about. I'm gonna adjust the camera. It's a little too close, and my audio's been down on lately, so I'm trying to speak into the microphone and see what's up. Uh, so you want to be a server. Well, it's not a hard industry to get into. You can have criminal records on your record. You can have no work experience. Some may require it, but it's some jobs actually prefer, or some server jobs actually prefer you not to have any experience, a little to none, because when you become a server, you learn bad habits. You get lazy, and you always trying to find a shortcut way around things. They want you to be molded so they can teach you how to. They want you to wait tables. First of all, when you look into a restaurant, I know Texas is different. The Texas is the only state we get below minimum wage, $2.13 an hour. So if you're in Texas trying to get a server job, be expecting to get $2.13 to $3.30 an hour. I think the most I got paid was like $3.36 an hour, because I was a head waiter. I'll get that into later on the video. Make sure you find a restaurant that you actually like the atmosphere. Of course, you want to make some good money. My opinion, steakhouses have been really good because people tip really well, and you want to look for items on the menu that's really high up, more than normal. My philosophy: work at a restaurant where you can barely afford to eat, where you would go for special occasions. That is a good tip right there, because if you go to a business and to apply where people go for special occasions or they have money to go to, that means they have money to spend. More money spending is good for you. We will also get that later on in the video. Uh, when you look for these jobs, make sure you ask for an application from a manager. Never go in and get an application from an employee, because first appearances mean everything in a restaurant. The best times to go in is between 2 and 4 on the weekdays, Monday to Thursday, because those are the dead hours in the restaurant. That's when the lunch rush is over. No one comes in during that time. They're usually at work and off lunch. And between 4 is when the rush starts getting in. Uh, also turn your application in those times. And if I would suggest turn it into a manager. You don't want to give it to an employee, a hostess, or another server, because then you don't know where it's going to go. And usually the manager, when they're hiring, they would let you know what they're looking for, and if they want, they will give you all the information you need before you even do the application. If they're not that busy, what I would suggest, bring a pen in, look presentable. You don't want to go in fucking wearing basketball shorts, wearing like the fucking shit you wear around the house. Look presentable. That leaves a good impression. That means you took the time to get ready to go and get this job, and they love that. Do the application there. If you have any questions, usually they ask you, do you have any questions, what you're looking for, what kind of pay you're looking for, and what kind of business you're looking for. What I would suggest tell them that you need, you have your own bills that you need to start paying, that you have some experience, a little experience, that you're a good worker, that you're expecting to get $2.13 an hour. They know you're gonna get paid $2.13. Tell them that you don't mind $2.13 an hour. I've seen people finally get their first paycheck being a server, and they're like, "What the fuck?" And usually, the paycheck is usually only every other week. So, being a server, you're not even worried about your paycheck. Yeah, it's a little like extra cash in your pocket every other Thursday or Friday, whatever day it may be. But it's the most I've got on a paycheck, because I had some food running hours on there. It was like a $400 check for 2 weeks. But it ranges from, trust me, you will get a check that says 0, 0, 0. This is non-negotiable. The check, it means non-negotiable. It's just a check. You can't cash it. It has no value to it, because that means you made more money in tips. And because what they do, if you don't make minimum wage with your tips, because at the end of the shift, I will tell you later on in the video, you have to claim your tips. And if above minimum wage, you usually get 213. If it's more to a certain point, I don't know the exact point. Managers do, but they start taking it away. So it goes from 213 an hour to 0 an hour because your tips balance it out. And what's good about waited tables, there's some restaurant that's different, but you bring that money home that day, what you make at the shift, but be prepared. You will tip out. Every place just ranges from like 1% of your sales, what you sell, not your tips, your sales, to like 5%. I think I've been in the restaurant with like 10%. It was fucking ridiculous. You would get more experience with that the more you work different restaurants. But what that means off your sales, not your tips. Let's say you had a good lunch and a good dinner all day, an 8-hour shift. You sold $1,200 in food and alcohol. That means 1%. That means you're going to tip out $12 to your buster. But sometimes the buster's not the only person you tip out. If that's the case, they will go off your food. So if you have $1,200 sales all day, like you may have $800 to $900 in food, and that's $9 for your buster by itself. Then your bartenders sometimes their percentage of tip outs gets between 1 to 5%, depends on the restaurant again. So if you have $400 in sales, it's going to be from like $5 to like $10 also. And like that's $20. You just bam, bam, bam. Just money comes and goes. Don't worry about it. If you may have a bad day at work, don't worry about it. This is only part one of the video. Let's just get it onto and the basics about it, what you need to know. Tip outs always. Sometimes you have a bad day. Let's say you're getting shitty tips. The average tip in Texas is between 15% to, depends on how your service was, to 20%. Sometimes you get more, sometimes you get less. Don't worry about per tip. Just think about it adds up, and it's just talking to people and bringing them food and taking the order. It's not that hard, and they give you a tip. Let's say you had a table, you give them good service, they bill it $100. You're gonna get people get mad when they get a $10 tip on a $100 bill, but I honestly don't. I know tip out sucks. People don't know. That's one fact before I get into that. Some people don't know how it is being a server. It's a lot of walking around, it's a lot of remembering shit, a lot of cleaning, a lot of tedious shit that adds up. And it's stressful, especially when it's very busy and you're slammed like back to back to back. But that's a good thing when you're slammed. You're making money. It's a little stressful, but you're making money in the process. It's not like you're losing money. Back to my example, if they had $100 tab, the minimum, like an average tip, is like $15 to $20, depends on your service. That's $20 at one table, and it could have been, sometimes it takes a lot of food and sales and whatever, but if a family comes in at 4, their average bill is going to be between like $80, $80 to $100, it might be drinking, and you're going to get a $15, $20 tip on that one table alone, and for $100, that's like $1 for your buster and $1 or $2 for your bartender. So in total, you made like at least from $12 to $16 on your foot at one table. That's only one table for the day. When you're a waiter, usually you do a morning shift or you do all day shift or only night shift. It's from like a minimum of like 3 to 4 hours to like 12 plus closing duties, and that just adds up. Also, what I would suggest when you become a server, learn the menu. Learn the motherfucking menu. Sorry for my language. When you have menu knowledge, your confidence goes up. You can sell anybody item. Pick 1 or 2 items on the menu, okay? Just pick 1 or 2. Learn everything about it. Learn how it tastes. Learn what it goes with. Learn what good wine, what good liquor comes into it, what goes with it when you're eating it. And trust me, customers, unless you have an experienced customer, a regular customer that comes back all the time, they know what's on the menu. But when you go out to eat, let's say you go out to eat to a restaurant, you're going to look over the menu, and if your server says this chicken parmesan is the best in the city, that it's succulent, it's tasteful, it's very organic tomato taste to it, the chicken is grilled for up to 4 hours, bathed in a white vinaigrette sauce, and just smothered with chili sauce and some peppers. That makes you think, and it gets your taste buds going. Tell them that, Maybe they don't want it, but I guarantee you, you will sell the item a lot more when you start giving examples and what it tastes like and how it's made and prepared. If you don't know, learn the menu, the basics of it, because when you, it's not going to show you how it's made. It's going to show you what's in the item, the price of the item. Become friends with the cook. Not only they can teach you whatever about the menu, they will give you free food from time to time. Restaurants look down upon that, but they will give you free food if you're hungry. If you're waiting tables and you're around food all day and you see fucking delicious food that you want to eat, you're gonna get hungry. Become friends with the cook. They're usually every restaurant I've been, they've been Hispanic, but they're funny as fuck. They tell funny jokes. Sometimes they're dicks, but they will hook you up when you need help. Like I even tip out the cook sometimes when they do a good job, or if it's messed up on my part, they would fix it. If I don't let the manager know, that would be my second thing, tips and tricks on being a waiter. Also, you're going to learn the computer system, the POS system. Forgot what it stands for, operating system, your performance operating system. Usually it's the same wherever you go. We have like different examples of like digital dining. There's a low hall. There's a performance enhancer, whatever. It was weird. Sometimes I've been in one restaurant, you get to write shit down, but usually the computer POS system is really easy. Half the time you have a PIN number you could go in, or sometimes you have a user ID, who you are, like let's say your user ID is 57, you tap 57 and they give you a password. You usually make a 4-digit password, or it's your last 4 digits of your social, depending on the restaurant. So you type in, the whole menu comes up. And if it's a good, well-established restaurant, the POS system is really set up to like exactly on the menu. You have your appetizers, you have your salads, your soups, whatever, your entrees, your seafood, and they have different categories. When you click it, it comes up. Let's say you want the seafood and you want the red snapper. Bam, red snapper. Also, you know how people go out. They don't get the thing on the menu. They want to modify it. There's a little button. It modifies it for you. Be like, bam, modify, and you'd be like, they don't want no mushroom sauce, and that goes to the kitchen, and they get that, and they will make that with no mushroom sauce. Whatever you put in, the cooks will get it, and they will do it. They won't do it unless sometimes you have to go back and tell them. Cooks hate that, especially if it's in a rush. Let's say they got some fajitas and you've got to tell them they want no grilled onions. Halfway through, you're like, hey, fuck, Jose, no grilled onions in the fajitas. Usually they give you a thumbs up and they know it. And usually they're really good about remembering that shit also. But other than that, whatever you send back there, they're going to get. After the PO system, you can print your checkout. You can sometimes they have coupons. The manager, half the time, all the time, you're going to need a manager approval. A lot of people, like, if you've been in a restaurant for a while, you learn the codes. So it sucks when you're in a rush and you need a manager fucking code just to get like a $5 coupon off. Even if you know the code, they can tell you when you use it and when you're not supposed to be using it. Everything's recorded in that POS system. It's there for a reason, not only for the servers, but it's good for the managers and the owners of the company. They can see what's going on. Whatever you do in there, they will fucking know. Get the coupon. The manager gets the coupon. Usually they take it from you, or you hold it in another slot, and I'll tell you about the payout later. Then they would put the coupon in and be like -$5 coupon, and you can print it out. You can print multiple copies out, and you can give it to your table. Okay, here's the way. After you drop the ticket off, you know how it works. Learn from the experience when you go out to eat. When you get the check, what do? You're gonna pay for it, right? You're gonna pay for cash, credit card, gift certificates. It doesn't matter. And you can do multiple payments. Like some might have like $10 cash, some credit cards, some gift certificates. Sometimes you have all three at once. It gets fucking ridiculous, but it does work. You get the money, whatever. You type it in for the credit card. You type in usually on the computer system what kind of credit card it is, and you run it, and it prints out. Some computer printers are really slow. They have analog, and it's just like reading slow. The new ones, like when I worked at Bar Louie, it was like fucking super fast. And they write your tip in, and you keep that receipt because you're gonna have to type the tips in later with the your checkout, which I'm about to get to right now. Okay, after all your tips that you've collected at the end of your shift, you're going to type in your tips because you might be confused. Hey, how do I get my credit card? How would they know? You go in the system on the POS at your computer server system. You go to tips, and it shows you what table. And on every receipt, you're gonna have the table and what the credit card was and how much the original amount was. You're gonna type the tip in, and when you type the tip in, hit OK. Usually you get a little slip that comes out how much the tip was, and you staple it to the original receipt, and you just keep organizing it. And you go through your whole list. You do all your credit cards, then you do your gift certificates, then you do your cash. Then when all your tips are put in the computer, you're going to run your checkout. A checkout is your whole daily performance and your sales and your tips, everything that you've done on the computer throughout the day. It's going to print out on a long-ass tissue paper. It's going to show you like your voids that you had to get voided off, your discounts you had to give off, all your credit cards, all your food sales, alcohol sales. And most of the time, they have your tip out, so you don't have to go through the process of typing shit in. It shows you what your fucking tip out is, and it shows you a negative number or a positive number. If you're positive, wait, let me think about this. If they owe you, if I do believe, if it's positive, like let's say a positive $90, they're gonna owe you $90. But sometimes you have a negative, you gotta pay them money because you also collect cash when people pay in cash. Let's say there's a bill of $50, and they left you $10. You have $60. The computer is automatically gonna fucking do. You have to do both. That's the restaurant's money. That's not your money to keep. I mean, some days you're gonna have a pocket full of fucking money, and you're like, holy shit. And like, be very responsible. Don't be stupid with the money, because I've been in situations where I lost $120 easily, just like that. That's why I left Bar Louie. $50 came missing. I was desperate for money that day. I picked a shift that wasn't even my shift. Lost $50. People broke in my locker, but just be safe with your shit. Keep it in a special pocket because you're gonna get disorganized throughout the day. Trust me, you're gonna have pins everywhere, straws, napkins. You're gonna figure shit out like that, and you pay your tip out. That's one. The checkout is a waiter's wet dream. It does all the work for you. So you go back there to the manager's office, what you usually do. It comes up on their computer, or they just check your checkout. Like, okay, I owe you $40. Here you go. And usually, before you get to the manager, you're gonna have a head server up there, and you're gonna have to get their signature. They're gonna go through all your side work. Side work is all the little shit, tedious shit that you're gonna hate. Trust me, it varies from different restaurants. You're gonna hate fucking side work. Usually it's just like refilling the sugar caddies, like the sugar, sweet and low, whatever you have in there, the salt and pepper, clean your tables, sweet. Make sure, sometimes it's washing the big trays, the waiter's trays. Let me see what's on there. Whatever they're gonna tell you. Some days, you might not have that much side work. Other days, you're gonna have like an hour of side work. After that, you're done. Your tables are done. Your checkout's done. You go to the manager, give your money, and you clock out. When you clock out, before you have the option to clock out. It says how much tips do you want to collect, to report. I'm sorry. You don't have to. It varies from person to person. Like, it gets confusing when I first started out. Because like your credit card tips are already going to be included, and most restaurants won't let you report anything less than your credit cards. Let's say you had $100 in tips in your credit cards. You're going to have to put a minimum of $100, but sometimes you have cash tips, remember? So you're going to put all these cash. You can add more to it or just leave it at 100. The more money you claim, the less your paycheck's going to be, and your W-2 is going to be more, it's taxed more in the long run, so you're going to get more money if you claim more. I remember one year at Lupe Tortilla, my W-2 was like fucking $42,000. I didn't claim like 75% of my money. I don't know what happened there. Maybe it was true because I was making some really good money up there. I was just fucking just spending money left and right. Okay, then after that, you can undo your shirt. You can get comfortable or smoke a cigarette. Most managers want you to go run the car before you start smoking your cigarettes. That's just a basic. This is part one. I'm about to do part two right after this. This one's gonna be part one. The next one's gonna be part two. Tips and tricks. So, I've been serving tables for about. I'm 25. I started on the day after my the day after my 19th birthday. The only other jobs I had besides restaurants have been retail in assessment guitar center, and I've been a Walmart employee. Other than that, my whole family's been in the restaurant industry. Easy, it's not easy, but it's really good money for a non-experienced job or like non-trade job. You don't have to have much knowledge into it. Sometimes I do feel like a monkey to do my job because it's just the fucking you repeat yourself the whole day. Uh, Part 2 is coming up again. I hope this one video is long rambling, but I hope it does help you out being a server. Trust me, if you have any questions at all, let me know. I have very, very good knowledge of being a server. Every restaurant I've been in, I've been complimented by the managers. They see how good of a server I am. My friends see it when I get their jobs. Even my tables see it. I'm not trying to brag, but if you've been doing it for so long, you pick up on some good tips and tricks. You learn from other servers. Okay, this is part 1, becoming a server. Part 2, I'm going to include like, let's see, tips and tricks, how to get your tables to tip you more, basic knowledge of what you should do every day, what you should bring to work, what you should, how you should be prepared for work. Again, I'm done with this video. Part 2 is coming right up. Part 1.